road characteristics that must be maintained. 1. The road is bumpy. 2. Potholes. 3. The slope of the road is not standard. 4. The water channel, ditch is not smooth. The usual job of a motor grader. Grading, leveling the ground. When grading, operate with speed 1 and 2. The propulsion angle of the blade is approximately 60 degrees and the blade tilt angle is standard 45 degrees to 60 degrees. Mixing. Blade graders can be used to mix materials with rolling properties of the blade. Operate at speeds of 3 to 5 with the blade cutting angle reduced and the blade tilt adjusted accordingly. Spreading, leveling the ground. For this job, operate the motor grader at speeds 2 and 3 with the blades cutting evenly. To fix the rocky road, use speed 1 and 2. Run the unit slowly to avoid the unit bounce up and down. The usual job of a motor grader. Position the effective cutting angle of the blade used during operation. 1. Position of the blade when grading. 2. Position of blade when cutting material for road maintenance. 3. Position the blade to remove the boulder and when mixing. The usual job of a motor grader. Cutting angle 10 degrees to 30 degrees. Used for normal work, finishing, lightweight materials and loose materials. Cutting angle 30 degrees to 45 degrees. Used when working on wet and sticky materials. Large windrow, spoil and for making trenches and other applications. The usual job of a motor grader. There are 3 operating models commonly used. Straight frame position, position craft mode, position of articulated frames. The usual job of a motor grader. Straight position, only the front steering is used. Steering angle 50 degrees right or left to maximize productivity when the articulated frame is not in use. For long straight work, light and medium windrow finishing, cutting trenches and for ripping, scarifying. Usual job of a motor grader. Craft position. The front and rear wheels run in the same direction. This position is used to level large dumping trucks. Windrows, spoils without the unit passing through the mound. Machine stays on smooth surfaces to get the job done. And the articulation prevents the unit from being stuck. The usual job of a motor grader. How to spread the material correctly. Articulate the rear frame approximately 15 degrees to 18 degrees towards the heel blade. Slide the drawbar. Circle and blade towards the mound at an angle of 30 degrees to 40 degrees. Use a low transmission gear and lock differential to prevent the wheels from slipping. Cut from the outside to make it easier. Attention! Motor graders are not for spreading bulky material, boulder, and piling up. This includes misapplications. Usual job of a motor grader. Position of articulated frames. Use front steering and frame steering if needed. Articulated frame will create a short turning radius. For work close to intersections, circles and corners. Use counter side draft to change cutting width without using circle drive to reduce blade load. The usual job of a motor grader. Turn using articulated. When turning using an articulation, avoid collisions between the wheel and the blade. At the time of starting to turn, turn the left front wheel in articulation. Blade dumps material in the direction of articulation and, if necessary, tilts the front wheel to the left. After finishing turning, turn the front wheel to the right of articulation so that the unit position is straight again. Job of a motor grader. Scarifying, harrowing. Scarifer is used to break down material that the blade cannot penetrate. Necessary things note is, to do scarifying, ripping use speed 1 or 2. Align the frame and use a differential lock to maximize traction. Do not use articulated when the ripper enters the ground plus or minus 15 centimeters and lift it before turning and backing away. Avoid tire slips and penetrate hard materials according to the number of ripper shanks. Keep in mind that when doing scarifying on an incline, it is recommended from top to bottom. Ripping is carried out at a maximum of half of the road and a maximum of 200 meters cannot be more. The usual job of a motor grader. Ditching, creating a trench. To make a trench with a rigid position. Operation using speed 1 or 2. Position the blade in such a way that the blade digs, cuts the soil that will be passed by the rear wheel. Adjust the blade angle 45 degrees to 50 degrees. Remove the accumulated soil under the chassis before it reaches the bottom of the unit. For finishing the trench with the crap position, articulate the frame so that it forms the crap position. Position the blade so that the cut material does not run over the rear wheel. The angle forms 45 degrees to 50 degrees and tilts the wheel to the right. The usual work of a motor grader. Once the blade is positioned in the position of cutting the cliff, things to pay attention to. Run the unit using speed 1. Nod the blade circle. To allow the grader to run in a straight line, tilt the front wheel to get the proper slope. Use articulation when grading over a slope. That's all from me. Sorry if there is something wrong in conveying. Thank you. Continued.